Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of the first episode of Clockwork Planet. Now, going into this one, so before I even watched it, I saw that there was pretty negative reception of it, and I was like, oh crap, is this going to be bad? Am I going to have to think about not watching this or covering this week to week for the channel and covering something else week to week if it isn't good? But I may be in the minority here. I'm not actually sure. I may actually have the unpopular opinion, but I didn't think it was bad. So yeah, I really don't get why the reaction was as negative as it was. Like, there were some bad things, don't get me wrong, and it wasn't like an amazing, brilliant, end-all be-all show, but I don't get why the reaction was that bad. It was a pretty good show. Like, I would say it's at least for a first episode, a little above average, I suppose. But I'll just talk about it part by part, give you my thoughts on why I think this is the case. So first off, we get some, what is it? Losing my words here. Exposition dropped on us. Wow, exposition. That took me really long to remember that. You know how I always remember that too? What is it? Austin Powers. Austin Powers is always how I remember that. Whenever I forget the word, I'm like, Basil Exposition. So yeah. Either way, the exposition is that Y tried to rebuild the destroyed Earth 1,000 years ago, and now the Earth is a clockwork planet all made up of gears and stuff with cities and whatnot on top of it. Really, first seeing the art style, I was like, okay, not really a huge fan of the art style. It looks, I heard the manga's a little on the older side, and I was like, you can kind of tell with the art style. You're like, it's kind of got that sort of old anime vibe with the way that face shapes and hair shapes are drawn. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like horribly cheesy or it wasn't badly made. It's just not a style I'd prefer. Then we get this action scene at the beginning, and the action scene really didn't have any weight to it. That is a problem, but it isn't the worst thing ever, once again, just because it's a problem that I feel like just about every anime has. There are so few anime that can do action really weighty and well. Then we get the opening theme. I think it's pretty alright, actually. I didn't mind the opening at all. I thought it was pretty good, even. I do dislike, one thing I can throw out that I dislike is the main character's way of speaking. I'm not going to say the voice per se, but the way of speaking is really annoying. And also the design I just don't personally like very much. So we find out that 1 month prior, the kid is trying to be a master clocksmith or whatever, automata, or like the ultimate creation of man. When the gear coffin, whatever, falls in, and he just exclaims, "My sweet lovers," in English. I thought that was a moment that made me laugh quite a bit. Not because it was even intentionally funny, perhaps, but just laughing at the English of it. Just seeing the world design, though, that is the biggest thing I can praise. The world design's beautiful. I love the way everything's like made up of gears, and it's got cities and stuff built on top of it. I think it just looks awesome. All the different buildings and stuff, the way they look, I think it looks really, really cool. So that's my favorite thing about the show already. Like, I could watch the show just for the world design. The world design looks so nice. We then see that this thing is what were their names? The Bregu family's lost automata. We see Marie and this guy that she's with, who I forget his name. I actually like both of their designs and like them in general. Apparently she's a Meister. We still don't know what they are, but they have some sort of Meister's guild. And we also see that there is another faction in the military that's going on here, so it's going to be cool to learn more about the Meisters in the military. The kid then tries to fix the girl that fell into his roof, and really, when her chest opened up and everything, like, I just thought it looked so badass. How the automatons are made of all these tiny little gears and stuff. Like, that to me, I love that design. That concept choice. I think it looks really, really cool. So that's another thing I would definitely praise it for. Also, I just like Marie as a character. Marie, the way she was talking to the military and everything, and just her character in general, I enjoyed her this episode. She was probably my favorite part of this episode. Then the automata concept, like I said, one of my favorite things here. We find that the girl's name is Ryuzu, and that Naoto can actually hear gears quite well. Not sure how that's going to be explained, but it's something that's going on here. I actually love Ryuzu's. My second favorite thing in the show. I don't know. The world design's my favorite. Second favorite thing might be Ryuzu's way of speaking, the way she's like overly arrogant and stuff without noticing it. And then third favorite thing is maybe just Marie in general. We then have the stereotypical ecchi scene, which is why I think most people, or a lot of people who didn't like it, probably didn't like it. Yes, it was a generic ecchi scene and pretty bad, but it was very short. It wasn't overdone. It didn't last way too long, and that was pretty much the only scene like that the whole episode. So really, I do not think it's a show ruiner. I did not think it was that bad at all. I've seen far, far worse. We see this dude Karasawa is supposed to help Marie with something, but then again we don't see him again until the very end, and when he tells them about the military's plan, but getting to that later. I loved the line where the thugs were all around Ryuzu and Naoto, and they were like, oh, you're so pretty, and she's like, yes, I am aware. That yes, I'm aware line killed me. I thought that was actually great. And then when she's with him, she thinks, he's already treating me quite well, even though I'm an automata. He's treating me like a human or whatever. And I'm thinking, she barely met the guy. He hasn't really treated her that nicely, really. He's just sort of treated her pretty neutrally, if I'm to be honest, just like a nice person would treat any other person. So, yeah, if she thinks that's treating her well, then damn, automata must really get treated like just, well, machines. They must really be pretty mistreated as objects. Then we find out from Karasawa telling Marie and the other people in their meeting, I guess that would be the Meisters, that the military is planning to let the Kyoto district gear or whatever fall, and it is home to 20 million people, so they will die if it does fall. And it seems like next episode we're going to see Marie trying to stop that from happening. And then we get the ending credit scene, which I loved. It felt really unique, and I liked it a lot. I liked the ending theme a lot. So yeah, I liked the episode. I didn't think it was bad. I will give some things I thought were bad, some cons. I'll give some things I thought were pretty neutral, and then I'll give some things I thought were good, the pros. The cons, things I didn't really like. Naoto's way of speaking, yeah, that kind of goes without saying. The design as well, I think kind of goes without saying. The design for him just feels really aged, I guess. It feels like something that you would see in like 2002, 2003. It doesn't really hold up to many modern day designs. The action having no weight. Again, this was just one little throwaway action scene, and this happens in many, many shows. So the action having no weight isn't something I can totally discredit it for right now, but it's also something that isn't good. Now for the neutral stuff. The neutral stuff, I would say the ecchi was neutral. Because we had that one scene that was a little bad, but it wasn't overdone. It's not the worst thing ever. Like I've said, I've seen much worse. And fan service, if used properly, can be good. It can help a series. It can provide comic relief or provide sort of relief in general for a heavy scene. So really, it wasn't overdone, and it's not bad to just have it in general. Another thing that I'd say is neutral is that the animation is nothing special, but it's also not terrible. It's just straight down the line average animation. And then things I thought were good, the pros, I think the opening and ending are quite nice. I did enjoy those. I really liked Marie as a character. I liked Ryuzu and her way of speaking. And like I said, the biggest thing I enjoyed about this is the world design and automaton design and the concepts behind both of them. I just think world and animation concept and design, very, very nice. That's probably my favorite thing about the show. So that's it. At least for the first episode, I was thinking about giving it like a 7 point something, but I'm actually going to give it 8, because I think it introduced us to the world quite well, and the world design and stuff was really highlighted well here, and that was my favorite thing. So I'm going to give it 8, actually. 8 Clockwork Planets out of 10. Also, though I liked this as an opening, I can see that, or I can at least fear that this may grow dull or generic over time. I think that's the biggest threat to this. biggest threat to this show isn't being bad. It doesn't seem like it's going to be outright bad. The biggest threat to this show is being so generic or maybe so boring later on that it just doesn't do anything for anybody. Nobody feels anything. You don't hate it and think it's bad, but it's not good enough to really be memorable either. That, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge that the show is going to have to overcome, is not becoming boring or not becoming generic. So yeah, those were my thoughts. I loved it as a first episode. I really did enjoy it, but it wasn't the best thing ever, technically. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in the future. Things could get better, things could stay around the same, which I would be okay with as long as they keep giving us new stuff and it's around a 7 to 8 out of 10 level. I wouldn't mind that at all. And that's kind of the way I see it going. I see it being a pretty good show, but nothing better than pretty good. Hoping it can prove me wrong though, but hoping it doesn't decrease in quality and become pretty shit. But we'll have to wait into the future to see for that. So that's it for this video. Like if you did like the video, comment down there, tell me what you thought of this episode. I could see quite a few people disagreeing about certain things here and there. I think I was pretty fair with most of the criticisms and most of the praises. So yeah, comment down there, tell me what you thought of the episode yourself and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Clockwork Planet, and for anime, I guess we're also covering Boku no Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Little Witch Academia this season, plus a ton of manga, other things, more, much more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. That is it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.